God didn't put you here to sell your soul to the programmers for 40 years. And yet, that's most people's reality. I like to talk a lot about how the programmers run most people. Now, the programmers is my overarching term for the people who instill limiting beliefs and false identifications onto you because they want you in alignment with the system so they can control you and continue empowering their system of conformity. That doesn't want you to be the star, unique self that you are. They want you to be boxes. They want you to be boxes that they can keep stacking for their pyramid scheme. You see what I'm saying? They want you to be dull and conformists, and they don't want you to have agency. They don't want you to be creators of your reality. They want you to be victims. And so they push this victim mentality to you. They want you to not be radically expressive in your authentic expression. And so they tell you to be this way, or do this, or don't do that. It's tragic. Because since most people are constantly plugged into the programs, right? Most people don't plug out and like come outside and take their fucking headphones off and be with themselves, or just sit in isolation in their room and like stare at a wall or something. Whatever. Most people aren't with their thoughts, right? When you're doing chores, washing the dishes, or you're outside doing whatever the fuck, who knows, like some yard work or whatever. Are you plugged in? Are you listening to something? Are you listening to a podcast? Are you listening to music? Are you listening to whatever the fuck? Are you plugged into the physical plane? Because if you're plugged into the physical plane, I promise you're not plugged into the spiritual plane. You won't be able to hear the voice of intuition if you're hearing sounds from the 3D plane instead. You won't be able to see with spiritual sight. You won't be able to see higher visions, higher clarities to move towards, because you'll be too busy visualizing and stimulating yourself with, things in the physical plane. The physical plane is important. We live here. Right? But at the end of the day, if we're continuously plugged into the program of the physical that people want us to be in instead of how we want our own physical lives to be, then we'll never be able to have enough space created to allow ourselves to understand and actually realize what it is that we want for ourselves, because we're too busy doing what other people are telling us that we want for ourselves. You see what I'm saying? You can only have an internal desire if you're isolated, right? It can only come from inside of you. Now, granted, it might have been put there before, but whatever. But if you're externally consuming something, then it might be you, it might be whoever the fuck you're listening to that is inflicting you with those beliefs, that's making you feel these certain ways. The thing is, most people just conform to the program of, well, I'm going to go through the education system, I'm going to graduate high school, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to go into a career that doesn't really mean anything, I don't really give a fuck about it, and doesn't even really make that much money. Just because I want to be in alignment with what people are telling me to do, because I don't want them to not think that, I'm following them, or that I like them, or that I'm disappointing them. It's all about survival. It's all about fitting in. Conformity. You see what I'm saying? Like, the programmers want you to be conformed. Your parents want you to be in alignment with what they believe. They want you to fit into their box. The media wants you to fit into its box. The system, like the school system, the workplace system, wants you to fit into its box. The religious figures want you to fit into their box. That's how they control you. Because if you're outside of their reach, they can't fucking grab you. So you got to stay in their box, because that's where they have control of. And so if you stay in their paradigms, you'll continue operating from their paradigms, and you continue being subconsciously manipulated by their paradigms. The passive mind, your subconscious, will be continuously inflicted by their beliefs, and it'll birth the reality that you're experiencing. Subconscious is the womb of your reality. And so if you don't put conscious intent behind recognizing your subconscious when you feel things, right, when you feel things in the moment, or you have a belief arise, when you don't put intention behind getting to the nature and the usefulness of this belief, really like criticizing it and understanding it, if you don't put intention behind it, you're never going to be able to tap into your subconscious and understand patterns about yourself. You won't be able to have these higher levels of awareness that allow you to break out of the box, break out of the paradigm. And so since you're always plugged in and you're never plugged out, you never have the space to recognize what's been plugged into you without you knowing. That is creating a reality you don't like without you knowing. Which is most people's reality. Most people are selling their souls for their jobs or their partners or whatever the fuck else. Their religion, whatever, it doesn't matter. And I'm not trying to like shit on these things, right? Like I have love and appreciation for all these systems because they've given things to me and they've given things to people. But at the end of the day, they also keep people trapped in limited paradigms. And inherently limited paradigms usually keep you suffering because limitation is stagnation, and stagnation is not movement. That's not evolution. Unfortunately, the nature of reality is evolution. And so if you're not in alignment with the nature of reality, if you're not evolving, which includes your beliefs, which includes your identity, which includes your physicality, your mentality, your spirituality, it includes your creativity, your productivity, your contribution, your service, your love for others, your relationships, all these things. If you're not evolving these things, if they're stagnant, limited, it doesn't feel good. It feels bad. Life fucking sucks when we're stagnant. Because stagnation is not our nature. Now, of course, we have to be still at times, but being still is really just being in the flow of reality. It's allowing the flow of reality to move with us, right? Because reality is constantly shifting. Nothing's ever truly still. But we can perceive the stillness if we're in the flow, right? Like to a fish, it doesn't really feel like, it doesn't feel the flow of the ocean when it's just living, right? Like when you're in the water, actually, this is a better example. When you're in the ocean and you're just in it, like you've been there for a while, you've kind of adapted to it, you don't feel the tiny shifts in the tides. You don't really feel them because you're one with it. You see what I'm saying? And so we need to be one with the flow of reality because that is where we feel good. That is presence. Presence, I call presence or stillness practices, but it's actually just being one with the flow of reality. It's being right here in the moment. It's putting your awareness on what's right in front of you. It's not being in your mind, being in the past or in the future. It's not being in, it could be being in your body. Being in your body is important. Understanding what's in your body is important. Understanding what's in your mind is important as well. But it's about recognizing what God is calling me for right now, right here. And most people are never tapped into that presence because they're always too busy worrying about what they have to do later or what happened before in the past. Which is so tragic to me, man. It's so tragic because if you're constantly trapped in the duality of time, of past and future, you're never in the present. And the present's where everything lives. The present is where we make things happen. That's it. You can't do anything in the future. The future doesn't exist. It's a construct of the mind. You can't do anything in the past. The past doesn't even exist either anymore. It's also a construct of the mind. Existence is right now, in the present moment. And so if you're not allowing yourself to be with that present moment, to get out of your day-to-day, to get out of the fucking autopilot, to be conscious, to be aware, you'll never make space to get away from the programmers and get away from the programmers' beliefs that are leading you on the path that you don't want to be on. So you need to take that space for yourself. It's actually so important. Like this needs to be like a devotional practice, a discipline. Discipline is just it's an alignment of higher desires from lower desires, right? The lower desires, the lower self wants to be comfortable and wants to be stagnant and it wants things to be easy. The higher self, the higher desires are growth, evolution, movement. You see what I'm saying? And so when we're disciplined, we're really just aligning ourselves with those higher desires rather than these lower ones that want to keep us comfortable. Think of the worldly self versus the spiritual self. We all have this dual nature. Not to deny the worldly self. That's foolish. I had a season of that. A lot of spiritual motherfuckers deny the worldly self. Stop doing that. I talked about that in my last video, the 7 levels of self-awareness. Go watch that. But we need to recognize that at times denying the lower self is actually required. Not to say we need to deny it all the time, or that we should. You should not do that. But we need to recognize when we need to align with the higher self. Like a lot of the times, I be coping pretty hard before I record a lot of my videos, because the lower self wants to be comfortable. The lower self doesn't want to do the hard things. And a lot of the times, like over the last week, I've been getting myself in with this affirmation of the spiritual man needs things to be hard, because that's how he grows. The spiritual man needs presence. The spiritual man needs work building, right? So like me making this stuff right now. The spiritual man needs hard things like physical training, or like just exerting yourself. You see what I'm saying? Like really giving of yourself towards a cause, towards your mission, towards your self-mastery, your self-development, towards the service of others. Make more room in your life for those things. Make more room in your life for presence, for stillness practices. I mean, this is basically just like holistic personal development, right? The holistic approach. Presence or stillness practice, a mental practice, learning. So this is like a meditation. This could be a grounded meditation. This could be prayer. This could be walking outside and just being conscious. This could be journaling. I have tons of videos about that. Learning a physical practice. So something that actually gets you like, and something hard, honestly, something that's like genuinely like challenging. So I like to do pull-ups, and I like to like spaz out and dance hard as fuck. That's why I'm actually like shirtless right now, because I was dancing and I was going crazy, so I was hot as shit. Mental movement, mental exertion, right? Learning, but also teaching and like philosophical analysis, contemplation, right? Creation, right? When I'm making these things, this is mental exertion. But also learning as well, very important. And then the spiritual movement, that's building, that's creating, that's service. I like to say the best way to do that is just hop on the internet and make content. Because inherently, by teaching your story, teaching your lessons, telling your stories, sharing your art, these things are inherently valuable, because our stories and our lessons, our insights, the pain that we've transmuted into purpose are woven into our teachings, our stories, our lessons, our art. It's woven into all these things. So simply by sharing these things on the internet so people can receive them, people will literally take what you're giving to them, they'll receive that, and you'll literally be able to get things back for that. That it feels good. Like I'm actually so glad I got to talk about this today. One of my students, shout out Aunt Cher. She's been one of my followers for like almost a year now. She's been following me since last July. And she bought one of my courses, one of my programs on like purposeful entrepreneurship. I'm no longer selling that, but she was like one of my like most devoted and like really appreciated like my teachings in terms of spirituality and in terms of content and business. And she recently commented on my Substack podcast that I dropped the other day. By the way, guys, if you like audio podcast, I drop exclusive audio podcasts to my Substack email list. So if you want to tap into that, the link's in the description. But she dropped a comment on my post. It was called "We are all the mystic, we are all the philosopher, we are all the artist," because that's my belief. And she was basically telling me about her journey, how she was at 850 subs and how she was making some moves, and how she told me that like I was really the first person, like her first the first influencer who really like inspired her with like the spirituality aspect, and how that like really called to her and allowed her to feel like in alignment with her mission. And I was just like, fuck, that's everything, bro. Like, this is why I do that. This is why I do this, bro. It's like, yes, I'm trying to get rich. If you want to buy my course, if you want to become a paid Substack subscriber and buy my shit, you should do that, because you should want to support me. I want your money. But yes, like, I want to make money. I'm here on the internet because this is for business, of course. But at the end of the day, like, I am a teacher. I'm a guide. And nothing, like literally nothing in the world gives me more fulfillment than when people tell me that what I've taught them has brought in genuine impact to their lives. Like, I can't tell you, it's like, it's so cool, bro. It's so cool. Honestly, bro. And I think that when you have those mirrors of the external reflecting your own beauty, your own power, right? I talked about this in my last video as well, how external validation is actually fucking awesome when you just stay authentic and stay polarizing. Because it reflects that the beauty and power of your unique self, who you're putting out there, it allows you to see that through a different lens, right? Inherently, we're so close to ourselves, it's hard to perceive ourselves a lot of the time. right? Like an eye can't see itself, or you can't really smell yourself, right? But if somebody came closer to you and you had, if you were like, if you smelled bad, they'd let you know. But let's say you smelled good, right? They would tell you, and you'd be like, really? Because it just, to you, it's just like, whatever. Like, we're used to our own scent. But if somebody else comes along, it's like, oh shit, that's kind of hot. And then they start following you, they start telling you like, oh yeah, I like that. We might look at them and be like, what the fuck is they talking about? But then we have to recognize in ourselves, like, holy shit, nah, like, I'm actually like fucking him. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna lie, last week I had this moment where I was just like, bro, I'm like a really, really good teacher. I'm really good at connecting with people. I'm really good at articulating ideas. I'm really penetrating. I really know that like the things I tell people really shift their paradigms and really plant seeds that can sprout and grow and blossom into beautiful things. And I just had to hype myself up a bit. I was like, yo, I'm the fucking man. Like, of course I deserve to have more people follow me. It's like, of course I deserve to have more subs. Of course I deserve to make a fuck ton of money because the things I have to say are fucking valuable. And the way I deliver it is fucking valuable. And I'm hot and I'm sexy and I'm hilarious. Subscribe. Hello. It's that recognition of myself, because throughout the last year, I've put myself into my creations. People have seen my creations, reflected their value back to me, which has made me see my own value and hold myself in that appreciation. This is why I want other people to make content. Like, yes, you should want to make money. You should want the financial income as well. You should want the freedom that comes from this. You should want those things. That's awesome. That shouldn't be your only desire. And it shouldn't even be your primary desire, in my opinion. It should definitely be a strong desire that you want. Money is awesome. Don't ever let nobody tell you shouldn't want to make money. Fuck those people. Money is awesome, and we should all want to make money because we need money to live. The fuck? And we should all want to make a lot of money because having an abundance of money is fucking awesome. But we should always have this core of, I create because I fucking love it. And honestly, because I need it. The work, no, not the work. You need the work more than the work needs you. I promise. I promise that you need the work more than the work needs you. It's a guarantee. Because I promise you that the times you're doing, like the work's gonna get done by somebody if it's not getting done by you. The thing is, God calls people to do things, but if you don't do them, God's just gonna give it to someone else. Like, God's not tripping. God has infinite ways to manifest things. And so if you're not in your shit, if you're not making it happen, God's just gonna move on, right? God don't do nothing for the donors, you feel me? God wants doers. And so if you're a donor, stop mentally masturbating and start walking in faith. Start taking some blind action. That's what you gotta do. Blind action's everything. But we need to recognize that, like, we have this spark, this voice, this inkling to move towards, that God is guiding us towards. And if we're not willing to move off that, we're playing ourselves. We're playing ourselves. Because we need to move. Like, the movement is where all of the fulfillment comes. I promise, bro. I promise. The journey, the process, the doing is where the fulfillment comes. Like, I don't know about you guys, but after I finish having sex with a girl, it's pretty nice. You know, we'll like sit there and cuddle, or maybe if I didn't like her, I just tell her to leave. Don't be like me. But the actual sex itself, like the doing itself, that's where everything lives. It's like, what the fuck? Oftentimes, the process is where the love, the fulfillment, the reward comes. Not in the achievement, the accomplishment. And so having this recognition that we want to be constantly moving towards something, moving on a path towards something that matters to us, actualizing that, but being in love with the process, not being obsessed with the goal, being obsessed with the journey. But, you know, still wanting the goal. Goals are awesome. The thing is, most people's goals, where they're going, aren't theirs. They've been instilled by the programmers, by their parents, or by the school system, or by the workplace, or by the government, or by the media, or by the religious figures, or by the influencers, or whoever the fuck else. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's not you. It's extrinsic instead of intrinsic. And inherently, extrinsic things die out. Because all things that rely on things outside of you to live are inherently a falsity. It's illusion. Because there's nothing outside of you. There's only what's here, and you're connected to everything. And so if you're not fueled by what's in here, it's inherently finite. Because the world of the material is finite. But what's not? The immaterial. It's infinite. And so the immaterial, the intrinsic, gives us infinite fuel to move. And so when it's not something that you genuinely want to move on, that you feel has genuine desire in your heart, even if that's lower desire, it's not going to feel good. The process and the achievement. You might think the achievement's going to feel good, but then you get it, it might feel good for a couple days, and then you're on to the next thing. This is why the Buddha said, have few desires, but have great ones. Because he was recognizing that if you always have all of these lower desires that you're constantly seeking for, I gotta have this, gotta have this, gotta have this, you get those, no fulfillment. You get the other one, no fulfillment. You get the other one, no fulfillment. It's a constant cycle of samsara, suffering. And so we want to have great desires, because those great desires are the higher desires. Your mission, your purpose, your love, your service, your relationships, your self-mastery. Those higher desires are the ones that we'll be able to align with and really clarify when the lower desires of the world are limited and keeping us in stagnation. But when we can unplug from the lower world, unplug from the program, and we can step into our own mentality, our own spirituality, and we can connect with the one through an external means of nature or through an internal means of meditation, let's say, or through prayer. When we can do that, and we can be plugged into the immaterial to a sense, right? When we have that spiritual connection instead of the physical connection, right? We're using our spiritual senses instead of our physical senses. When we allow ourselves the space, we can receive those messages. We can receive the guidance. We can receive the goals, the directions. We can receive the purpose, the thing that we're actually supposed to be moving towards. We can receive clarity of what the path is. And so all in all, if you've been plugged into the programs and you know that that's not for you, maybe you're going to college and you know you don't want to be, but you're just doing it because you feel like you have to. Oh, this career is going to make money. I'm in finance, so yeah, whatever. Or you're in this career that you genuinely fucking hate, but it's like, it's my livelihood. Now, I'm not going to say that you should just like leave those things immediately. Maybe you should. Maybe you should just be radical. That's awesome. More fucking power to you. Pound that shit if you are. But at the bare minimum, start making space for presence, one, and for building something that you actually want to build. Because in that building, you'll be giving of yourself to this project, to this creation. Whether it's building your mind, building your body, building your brand, your content, your social media, building your business, building your art portfolio, building your whatever, building your network of people, building your social game, building your interactions, building your fucking roster of women. I don't know. It doesn't matter, bro. In the building, you discover yourself. I promise. Because the more you give of yourself to the world, the more the world shows you what you're giving to it. It's that mirror that shows us the beauty that we should recognize and hold on to. And it also shows us the tragedies that we need to confront. A lot of the times it's hard to confront these, but we have to. And I can't tell you how much beauty and how many tragedies I've had to face and confront, and I've been able to be blessed with over the last year of my content journey. So that's really what I want to call everyone to do, honestly. I genuinely believe everyone who's not making content is fucking stupid. I'm going to say that again. I genuinely believe everybody who is not making content is fucking stupid. Because one, the external of being able to have financial freedom is like, that should be a no-brainer, right? If we're just purely talking about like the worldly things, right? But also the spiritual things, which are way more important, and actually a way bigger impact on you, and especially in the beginning, because the worldly things will come with time. But the spiritual things, the spiritual fulfillment, that can come instantly. I promise, it can come instantly. The feeling like you're creatively expressing, that comes instantly. The feeling like you're serving other people, that might not come instantly, because you kind of need other people to at least like reflect that back to you. Like, comments are a huge way of knowing you're impacting people. But your own self-expression is going to be massive when it comes to sharing your art or sharing your stories or your teachings on things that you've struggled with, or things that you find valuable, or things that you love that you feel like you want to bring to other people. If you have a desire to share your music, share your fucking music. If you have a desire to sing and share your voice, share your voice. If you have a desire to dance and share your dance, share it. Right? Like, I was dancing, like I told you guys, and I put that shit on my Instagram today. I was kind of being like a little timid because it wasn't that good. I don't give a fuck, because I want to share what I have to give, because I'm willing to be polarizing. Even if people look at me and be like, why the fuck is this guy on my phone? This guy looks like an idiot. I'm gonna unfollow him. That's actually what I want. I don't want nobody that don't want me. Fuck out of here. Stay polarizing, baby. That's always the motto. And most people aren't willing to stay polarizing because they've been programmed to be a box that people like. But if you're in like, right, that's neutral. There's the continuum of love and hate. There's don't give a fuck in the middle. There's like and dislike here. There's love and hate here. It's a spectrum, right? But why would you just want this? This is such a measly impact. This is such measly connection to people. You don't want to be liked. You want to be loved. You want to be adored. You want to be devoted to. You want to be inspirational. You want to lead people. You want to be seen. You want to be recognized. You want to be held. You want to be fucking great. So why are you okay with being liked? That doesn't make any sense. Stop being okay with that shit, bro. Be loved and be hated. Because I promise the hate's going to come. It's a guarantee. But if you're willing to step out of the box that the programmers want you to be in, if you're willing to make space by being present, if you're willing to build something that you genuinely feel is right for you, something that you want to give to others, something that feels right for yourself, and something that you want to impact other people with, if you're willing to do that, I promise you, your life will be better. It's a guarantee. It's a guarantee. Because that has been the primary thing that's made my life better over the last year. Walking and content. Presence and building. The two things have changed my life the most, right? And in times where I fell off and I get in the holes and I get into ruts, it's always these two things. I come back to them and it's like, of course. Right? In times where I fell off walking, right? Like August through October, I fell off walking big time. I was still making my content, but I was in a rut. In, basically from like February through May, I fell off with content. I was still walking a fuck ton, but I wasn't really giving of myself much. I didn't feel like it. I didn't feel good. I'm not gonna lie, I'm still trying to maintain both at a rate that like feels like perfect for me. I'm still trying to find that, but I'm in them every day now, and it's just like and so like those are the two things I want to ascribe to you, honestly. Like literally steal my two. Walk, make content. Steal my two, right? Now if you really want to do other things, maybe you want to do meditation. That's awesome. And you want to sing, or you want to do bodybuilding as you're building, whatever. Okay, that's awesome. If you genuinely want to do something else, do it. But if you're like, oh man, I don't really know what to do, shut the fuck up, walk, make content. If you don't know what to make content about, start writing down stories that are funny or that were interesting, that taught you things. Actually, you know what? Here's a good question. What is something that you've like spent an obsessive amount of time learning about that most people in Walmart don't know? Like if you walked up to somebody in Walmart and asked them, hey man, what do you know about metaphysics and mysticism? They would look at you like a fucking idiot. Right? It's like, what? Right? But I know a fuck ton about metaphysics and mysticism, so I teach that on my content. You see what I'm saying? If somebody walked up to my boy Ghosta No. If I walked to somebody and was like, hey, what do you know about making beats on your phone and making songs out of fucking Apple headphones? They'd be like, what are you saying? But my dog Ghost has been doing that shit for the past 7 years. He's got tons of XP. He could teach that shit. You see what I'm saying? What things do most people not know that you actually know a lot about, but you take for granted? Why? Because you can't smell yourself. Make content about that, all right? And fucking go outside and walk. Be outside. Being outside is awesome. Go outside. Stop being a fucking goblin. All right, I'm gonna call that there, actually. Yeah, my name is Jaden. If you fuck with this video and you ascribe to my mission of helping people live their most free and authentic lives by helping them understand who they truly are, helping them express who they truly are, I'd appreciate if you join the Digital Renaissance Creators Movement. And again, if you like written newsletters or audio podcasts, I drop those to my email list every week. So join that for free, link in the description. Do it today, be better for it tomorrow. Stay devoted, stay inspired. Dubs out.